Eagles versus Dolphins Joint Practice Day 2 canceled. And Nick Sirianni had a press conference. All that coming up next. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome to the Angry Birds Fans Hangout. And I'm your host, Hydro. And we got another episode coming to you right now. But before we start, go ahead and follow, like, share this podcast with your family and friends. Share with any Eagles fans you may know out there, so that way we can grow this podcast, grow this channel, and get as many Eagles fans as we can involved with this podcast. So that way we can have great discussions about our team, the Birds. And also, you can catch me on Twitter at UMCIE, or you can search for Angry Birds Fans Hangout, and you catch me there. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter and leave me comments, and I'll respond back to you. And I also post the podcast on Twitter. You can listen to it there and comment on there. Just leave me a comment on what you think about the podcast or just anything in general that we spoke about. And also, you can catch us on YouTube at Angry Bird Fans Hangout. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment on our videos or our podcasts on there. We post them on there for your viewing and listening pleasure. All right, so let's begin. So the Eagles and the Dolphins were supposed to have another joint practice today. They had one yesterday, and today was supposed to be the second day of those joint practices, but it was canceled. And there was rumors going around that it was canceled because there was something going around on a Dolphins team, some kind of bug or something that was non-COVID related. So people were speculating that it could have been monkeypox going around, but the Dolphins came out and said it was a stomach bug, and it had plagued a few of their players. They were sick and vomiting last night, so they just took precautions, and they canceled their practice with our team. And they also weren't holding their own internal practices, so they were going I guess they were going on video teleconferencing, or they were going remote with their practice, just for precautionary reasons, I believe, so they don't get any more players on their team sick. And stuff like that tends to spread a lot faster, and especially if you're in a locker room together with a bunch of people. So the Eagles went ahead and decided to go ahead and hold their practices, or hold their practice today, but it was just an internal practice. They were just going up against each other. And as far as I've seen with the reports, the offense was doing pretty good. Jalen Hurts did pretty good, and so did the defense. Jalen Hurts scored some touchdowns. They were running red zone. I think red zone practices today, and Jalen Hurts did pretty good, but so did the defense. I saw they had one interception, and it was Avonte Maddox that intercepted a 50-50 ball from Jalen Hurts that was intended for Dallas Goedert. So they're holding their, I think they're already done with their practices since I started this podcast. And I was really looking forward to the second day of joint practices with the Dolphins, because yesterday the Eagles did pretty good. I mean, if they had to tell you they could have did better, I believe they would say yes. But any team could do better on the practice. But I think the Dolphins probably played a little bit harder or outplayed the Eagles during the practice. I don't believe in this win or lose during a joint practice, because it's practice. I mean, you're going to make mistakes, but you're out there to learn and to improve your game, especially when you're going up against other teams. And it's just a good learning process for both teams. They get to see different looks that they normally wouldn't get to see from each other in practice. And like I mentioned before in other podcasts, the defense tends to have an advantage over the offense in internal practices because they kind of seen the same plays over and over again, so they can adjust and make plays that they normally wouldn't do against another team because they don't know what's coming. So this is pretty, and with the defense going up against another team like the Dolphins, it only makes them better because they see a different look than our team. Because obviously, both of our teams, I mean, we're similar in personnel, but we run different offenses, I believe. So I just wanted to really, I was hoping to hear that we played a lot better than we did yesterday, that we kind of came out and dominated the practice against the Dolphins. But of course, that didn't happen. But we have a game against them, a preseason game. Of course, I'm pretty sure the starters won't be playing in this game. So we'll see we'll probably see a lot of the thirds on the field in this game because it's cut time. And like I mentioned before, that we have until August 30th at 4 p.m. to get our roster down to 53 players. And these guys are fighting for their positions right now. And so one move that happened today involved what happened with Ugo Amadi. So I mentioned in my last podcast that Ugo Amadi was traded to the Titans for a late round, I think late sixth round pick, and he wasn't on a team that long. We got him from we traded for him from the Seattle Seahawks. He came to us. I think it's been like 10 days. It was like 10 days ago, and he already got traded to the Tennessee Titans. But at least we got a pick. That's just how we, bringing in personnel that he knows will either make the team or he can get something in return for getting that player. And I guess that's one thing we got with Ugo Amadi. But I think that put Jaquiski Tartt in a better position in making the team without having Ugo Amadi there. I think they really like Jaquiski Tartt. I mean, he's a veteran player. He's coming from San Francisco. I mean, he made plays for their team last season on defense. So he's only going to make our team better. So here is, and Nick Sirianni talked about him in the interview, and here's Nick Sirianni.
He's fighting for position, and he's working every single day. I mean, it was a great hit he had on the sideline against Cleveland the other day, and you see him in those in those drills. He had that one hit on the sideline, then he cleaned up a play on fourth down that got a good stop. So you see some of the things of why you brought him here. Every time he steps on the field. So I'm glad he's here and competing with the guys.
So that was Nick Sirianni on Jaquiski Tartt. And when you're fighting for a roster spot on a team, it's always great to hear your head coach saying good things about you. And he did play well in the preseason game against the Cleveland Browns. I had him as probably the I want to say the second best. No, I think I had him as the best tackler on the team that day. Like I seen him hit people and make plays more than any other person when he was out there. I think the next person close to him, I think, was Kayvon Wallace. If I think between those two, I would say it was a tie because I did see Kayvon Wallace make a few tackles out there, but because the team was tackling really poor during that game. But they stood out because they were tackling so poor. They made plays, great tackles during the game. And then Andre Chachere, excuse me, probably made a few tackles, but he probably made one of the best tackles in the game when he prevented them from scoring on the, I think it was 3rd and goal, and he prevented Dobbs from scoring from running the ball into the end zone. I think Dobbs tried to jump in or dive into the end zone, and Chachere pretty much looked like Thor from the Avengers and snatched him out the air and tackled him, preventing him from crossing the goal line. So that was probably the best tackle that day, but he wasn't the best tackler on the team that day. I would give that to either Jaquaski Tart or to Kayvon Wallace. Now, with the Ugo Amadi trade, they brought back Josh Blackwell, who they waived on Tuesday, because remember they had to get down to the 80 man roster on Tuesday, and Josh Blackwell was one of the players they released or waived that day, and he's one of the backup cornerbacks that was playing for a spot on the team. And reports in camp have been very positive in him. As a matter of fact, a lot of people were surprised that he was one of the cornerbacks waived. And I didn't see him really do anything during the preseason game against Cleveland. I mean, if he was out there, I didn't see him make any plays. And I don't know, maybe I missed it, but I didn't see it personally. I didn't see him do anything during the Cleveland game. But, right now we have Josh Jobe and Josiah Scott, who are injured. Josiah Scott is, he's fighting for a roster spot as a safety on the team. But if he's injured, I don't know what the severity of his injury is. They cannot make the team, him or Josh Jobe. I think they're both undrafted players, free agents that we brung in and signed to the team. And Josh Jobe was actually playing pretty good. He played pretty well in the game against Cleveland. But I think he played a lot better in the Jets game. So, I mean, he is pretty much, I have him as a lock for the backup cornerback spot on the team behind James Bradbury. But if he's hurt and he can't go out there and play against the Dolphins on Saturday, then Josh Blackwell, this might be his best opportunity in making the roster, because if him and Mario Goodrich are the two cornerbacks that I feel aren't going to make the team right now. So those two guys have the opportunity to go out there, play well, and make a roster spot on this team. But they have to go out there and prove it. And I think that's why they bring Josh Blackwell back, because they want to just make sure we're not making a mistake and letting this guy go, because he's been playing well in practice and throughout training camp. Just give him another shot, go out there and see what he can do. So hopefully he goes out there and performs well, and he's able to make the team. But during the interview, Coach Sirianni also was asked about. He was also asked about AJ Brown and how AJ Brown is contributed to the team and how he's fitting into the team. So we're gonna go here and listen to what Coach Sirianni has to say.
He's awesome. Yeah, he fits in. He fits in great. Obviously a guy comes in and the amount of plays that he's made in this league has automatic respect of everybody. But the way he interacts with his teammates, the way he works on the practice field, he fits great into our culture. I mean, we want to get better every day at practice. We want to compete. We want to connect with our guys, and he speaks to all those things. So I love having him on the team for his playmaking ability, and I love having him on the team for the person and the teammate that he is. Yeah,
So that was Coach Sirianni on AJ Brown and how he fits into the team. And ever since we brung AJ Brown here to be that big back, to be that big receiver that Jalen Hurts needs. He needs a receiver that's big and he can throw a 50-50 ball to. And more than likely, you know, AJ Brown's going to come down with it, and he's been proving that during camp, this whole training camp. He's been proving that he cannot be stopped. He will win a 50-50 ball at any time. He proved that during the Cleveland Browns joint practice, and he also showed that in the joint practice with the Dolphins yesterday, that he is a reliable receiver. He's that big body receiver that can go up against maybe a smaller cornerback, and he's going to win that matchup. And Jalen Hurts can trust him to take the ball, to catch the ball whenever it's thrown to him. So Jalen Hurts really doesn't need to be like perfectly accurate in his passes towards AJ Brown. Now, Devontae Smith, he might need to be a little bit more accurate because Devontae Smith is not as big of a receiver as AJ Brown, but Devontae Smith is strong, so he can also win those matchups. But Jalen Hurts might need to be a little bit more accurate with him, but Devontae Smith has been showing all training camp and in the practices, the joint practices with the Cleveland Browns and with the practice with the Dolphins yesterday, that he can catch anything that's thrown to him. So Jalen Hurts, I mean, he's in a very good spot right now as a quarterback because he at least has two receivers he knows that he can get the ball to, and they're going to catch it. And he also has Dallas Goedert. So technically he has three receivers. So, I mean, you got two receivers and a tight end. I mean, Pascal is also showing that he can catch the ball too. Quez Watkins, he still probably needs more improvement in that area, but I mean, he's not really. I mean, he's not a bad receiver. I mean, if you get him the ball, he's going to catch it, but he's not like 100%. He's not 100% sure catch receiver. It's not guaranteed that he's going to catch the ball if it's contested. Because I've seen some passes, especially last season, where he gave up on his route. For a guy that's supposed to be that fast, like, you can't give up on your route. Like, you need to use that speed to get under the ball, even if it's overthrown. And Jalen Hurts might be overthrowing him because he feels that Quez Watkins has the speed to get under that ball. So instead of trying to put it right on him with the DB, having good coverage on him. So we'll just see how Quez Watkins does this season, see if he's improved from last season. But Nick Sirianni also, during this interview, he went over how his offense was doing and how they did in the practice yesterday. And, people were saying they were up and down. They weren't, moving the ball. They were kind of stagnant, but this is what he had to say.
The efficiency on third down, I thought was really good. And I thought Jalen was outstanding in yesterday's practice. I mean, to me, Jalen's practice yesterday was the best practice he's had as an Eagle. Offense.
So that was Nick Sirianni on the offense. So, and hearing him say that, it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. I know he's the head coach, and he's not going to talk bad about how his offense or how his team did in general. But to me, I mean, from seeing him last year, Nick Sirianni is really kind of like he's a straight up coach. He'll let the press know that if they're having issues with something and they're going to try to correct it or try to improve on it. So, I mean, he's not going to badmouth his quarterback, of course. I mean, even if he didn't do well, but people were saying that Jalen Hurts didn't do well out there, but then I saw reports that he was doing well, and even under pressure, he was getting the ball out accurately. I mean, he had probably a couple of bad passes here and there, but he didn't throw any interceptions yesterday. It's just, sometimes it's just how the game flows. Like, you're not going to get a deep ball every time. Sometimes you might have to nickel and dime the defense depending on what coverages they're showing you or what kind of schemes they're running. I mean, look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady is not known for throwing bombs all the time. Tom Brady is known for moving the ball downfield, for having consistent drives. And he does that by throwing short and intermediate passes. So he's looking at getting first downs. He's not looking at getting the big play, and that what makes Tom Brady a great quarterback. The object of the offense on the field, of course, the main goal is to score, but in order to score, the first objective you have to make are first down. So you got to get first downs first, and that's what Tom Brady works on. He works on getting those first downs, and then if the defense allows it, he might take a shot down the field, but he's only going to take what the defense gives him. And so, Jalen Hurts has to learn that he can only take what the defense gives him. Don't try to force the ball in somewhere on like a double coverage or a triple coverage or something like that, or try to force the ball downfield when it's not there. That's only going to lead to turnovers. So he just has to learn how to be patient, read the defense. He's got to learn how to read the defense pre-snap, and then he's got to go through his progressions and read what the defense is giving him in coverage if it's a pass. So I think Jalen Hurts, I mean, if you heard Nick Sirianni say this, he said that's probably one of the best practices he had. I mean, he's a coach, so if he says that's the best practice Jalen Hurts has had so far, then we have to take that, into consideration, and not just, rely on rumors out there on how he did. Um, I mean, I seen a couple of passes yesterday that were on the money. I mean, he was making some pretty good passes yesterday from a lot of the footage I seen from the joint practice. So I mean, I've seen really good improvement in Jalen Hurts from last year. Just that one drive they had in the Jets preseason game, I saw improvement. I mean, I saw him getting the ball out on time. Um, he's still extending the plays with his legs if the receivers aren't open. So he's trying to get his receivers open by extending plays. So I mean, I think he's going to do pretty well this year. I mean, he got the weapons. There's really no excuses for him. So I just hope that he just doesn't try too much, or try to do things that aren't there, per se, like throw a pass because he feels like he has to do something, play hero ball. And that was that's still Carson Wentz's one of his downfalls, and he killed us with that when he was our quarterback. He tried to play hero ball. He tried to get the ball in somewhere where it wasn't there, and it ended up being an interception, or just we didn't get first down, so the offense wasn't moving. The offense couldn't get in a groove with him. He did the same thing in Indianapolis. I mean, did he have good numbers? Yeah, but a lot of those games, man, he threw a lot of interceptions, and he just did a lot of stupid stuff because he's still trying to play hero ball. He's trying to be hero. We don't need a hero and a quarterback. We just need a quarterback to lead the team and to make the right decisions. Let the other players be heroes. Let the running backs, let the receivers, let those guys be the heroes and make the catches and score the touchdowns. So, but I just wanted to bring this podcast to you today because I was hoping to bring highlights of the day 2 joint practices with the Dolphins, but since they got canceled, I just wanted to update everybody on things going on with the team, and just what Nick Sirianni had to say about some of his guys in the offense. So it's looking good for the Eagles, and today was their last day of training camp. Training camp concluded today. We got one more preseason game on Saturday, and that's it. We're going into the regular season. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Man, I mean, I know I'll probably sound boring sometimes on here. It's just because I'm really not excited yet because I don't get excited for preseason. Sorry, guys. But when you see me during the regular season, you're going to be like, man, this is a totally different person because I get passionate about my team and I want them to win. If they lose, if it's like sticking a knife in my chest, it's just like, especially if they lose a game they should have won, man, you're going to see me going crazy on here. And you're going to be like, is that the same guy? That can't be the same guy. Like right now, I'm mild-mannered because, I'm just taking stuff in, just trying to get a feel for the team. But right now, after this preseason game on Saturday, that's it. We rolling into the real thing. So whoever makes this team is it. You got to go out there and play, get us some wins, get us to another championship. Like we're not holding you to a lower standard. So I think we have a good team this year, and as long as they're coached right, as long as we're running, they're calling the right plays for our offense. Jonathan Gannon is, running the right schemes in our defense and being more aggressive. Please be more aggressive, Gannon. More aggressive. You got the guys now. I mean, we got the secondary. So it's like there's no excuses. I can understand last year we didn't have a great secondary. I mean, we only had Darius Slay out there, and we just really have the personnel now where we got a defensive line and a linebacking core that we can be more of an aggressive defense, go after that quarterback, hit them holes. We should be one of the number one rushing defenses in the NFL. We should have some, we should be up there. And I don't think we're going to be leading the NFL in sacks, but we should be up there at least in the top 5 with the personnel we have. So, I mean, let's do it. We're going to need to be aggressive offense. I mean, we got the people, we got the players, so it's time to go out there and do it. So the game is on Saturday. I'm gonna watch the game and see if I can come back and give you highlights of the game if it's even interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you, I might not do highlights of this game because I like I said, I really don't do preseason games, but I just did the preseason games this season for you fans and for fans of the podcast, just to get updates on the team, then just for me to see how these players that are trying to make the roster play, because I think it's really important that we get the right players on this team this season, because we have the right personnel and we just need the right backups in case something happens to our starters. So, because that could be the dagger in our season if some of our starters get hurt and we don't have people to come in there and back them up and help us win games. But I'm excited, guys. I'm excited for y'all to be here on this podcast, to join me, watch these games, have discussions with me. And please, like I said, follow, like, share this podcast with your friends and family. And also come to me or come at me on Twitter. You can catch me on Twitter at UMCIE. And also catch us on YouTube at the same name as the podcast channel at Angry Birds Fans Hangout. Subscribe, like, and comment on our videos and podcast on there. And like I said, wherever you comment on our stuff, I will respond back to you. I will respond. And also we'll be giving away gifts this season, especially like jerseys. So the first 100 people to comment, or the first 100 people to tune in live, I'm just going to pick somebody out of that 100 to get to give a free jersey to. So please follow us and share so we can get as many Eagles fans as we can on here. And until next time, go Birds.